Hello everyone, welcome back for more Let's Play You Don't Know Jack, Mach 2.
One person playing with himself. Fine.
As usual.
Gameplay functions as follows. Wait, you are already familiar with the roles. Excellent. We will begin immediately.
1.
This category is Left Out in the Cold War. You get it right, I'm putting you up $2,000. Boy, oh boy, is it chilly in here, or is it just me? No, it's the Cold War episode, silly. All about them commies. You remember what a commie is, don't you? Why, they're those nefarious folks from the Soviet Union who wanted to take over the world, I tell you, take over the world! Based on the name of the U.S. policy toward the Soviet Union's expansionism in the 1950s, what would you expect the United States to do to the Soviets? Hang them from a glass ceiling, push them through an open door, freeze them in an ice cube tray, or lure them into a Tupperware container?
Yeah, I believe we tried to freeze them.
What the hell are you thinking? Should've picked this one. The U.S. plan to limit Soviet influence back in the 50s was called containment.
General, Plan A didn't work.
Damn. Bring on
I
Plan
was thinking
B.
nuclear
The
freeze.
pleated Ziploc baggies.
Oh well.
2.
The category's gonna be the Common Cold War. Let's see what you'll do for $1,000. Put your head between your knees, cause we're going down. If you were to wage a Cold War against the common cold, on what would you be spying? Viruses, bacteria, toxins, or cold fairies?
Still think it's viruses.
Colds are caused by viruses.
What's going on there, Agent 12?
How the hell should I know? I can't see them. Achoo! Great, now I'm sick.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I'm calling this one better dull than red. You get this one, you pocket $2,000. Think fast, it's question time. Which of these is not a dull fact about staunch anti-communist John Foster Dulles? He became vice president in 1959. He had 2 secretaries of state in his family. Oh gosh, excuse me. He helped negotiate a treaty with Japan, or he wrote books about international relations.
Don't think he ever actually became vice president.
He never became a vice president. In 1959, he died.
I didn't know such thing.
Yes, you did, Mr. Dulles. Which doesn't necessarily preclude him from carrying out the duties of the job.
Are you implying the American political system is not the best in the world? Are you some kind of communist, young man?
No, sir, Mr. Dulles. No, sir.
Well, that's good. Did I mention my favorite color is gray?
No, you hadn't mentioned that.
It's true.
Oh.
He's
This one's
dull.
called I'm Getting Annoyed. You get it right, you get 2K. Open wide.
I'm just
If the
paranoid.
domino theory applied to Domino's pizza delivery, which statement would be the most accurate? If pepperoni is free, sausage will cost extra. The more you like pizza, the less you eat it. If one is late, all pizzas will soon follow suit. Or Pizza Hut must not be allowed to deliver.
Like a stack of dominoes.
You rock my world! The domino theory held that should Vietnam fall to the communists, the rest of Southeast Asia would fall, in 30 minutes or less.
Probably would take about that long, too.
Coming at you, chilling Soviet leaders. How does $2,000 sound?
Did you know I like talking on the telephone?
No, Mr. Dulles, I hadn't heard that.
Communist.
Anyway, if you were to practice the Soviet policies of glasnost and perestroika on your refrigerator, what would you most likely do? Seal it off and kill all who approach it. Open it and reorganize it, sing about it constantly, or support it even though it doesn't exist.
Well, yeah, but you open it and shuffle it around. And
Glasnost means openness, perestroika means restructuring. These policies helped end the Cold War. Hey, and while
Or
you're in
so
there,
they
clean out
wanted you
those
to
old
think.
Tupperware containers, will you? They smell like Bolshevik. Well, open your eyes. Looks like we're about to enjoy a When Did Happen. Okay, now.
Does the wall,
Okay.
the Berlin
Somebody's
Wall
got their
falling have
knickers in a
anything to do
bunch.
with
Let's
this?
go. This When Did Happen is called Vote for Me, That Other Guy Sucks. Well, we all know that Americans love political campaigns because it allows us to do what we do best. Make up slogans. Like, for instance, this classic. I like Ike. How about it? Want to tell me if this Cold War era presidential campaign slogan was popular before I like Ike,
50s.
after that one, or was it never a popular slogan at all?
Dewey? Oh, I guess so. Huh. I don't think... Really? They actually use that. I'm...
Okay, let's check it out.
They use
Call that
that.
a C
Wow.
average. Let's look at what that does for you. Okay, now, where were we?
being amazed at some of the actual slogans.
Next, that vitamin is the bomb. $3,000 for this one. Eyes forward, we're going. If the B-2 stealth bomber had the same properties as vitamin B2, what would be the best new name for it? The riboflavin bomber, the thiamine bomber, the niacin bomber, or the folic acid bomber? Vitamin B2, it's also known as riboflavin.
You are not
Our
Jerry
first line of
Lewis.
defense against the evil forces of respiratory problems.
8,
Here's a little something I call, if trees organized a forest, would anybody hear? I'm gonna
Nah.
give away $3,000 this time. Okay, free your mind. If members of the John Birch Society decided to plant a society of birch trees, which of the following landscaping principles would they definitely not choose? A few trees get most of the soil's nutrients. All trees share the sun and soil equally. Birch trees are not placed near oaks or elms, or the tallest trees should be the happiest.
Pretty sure they were anti-communist.
The John Birch Society is a group of ultra-right-wing anti-communists, so they would hate the idea of trees sharing the soil equally. But I wouldn't worry about those John Birch people. Their bark is a lot worse than their bite.
But their bark is pretty bad.
The category is corpses that sell out. $1,000 if you get it. Man, I don't know what sickens me more. The fact that Gorbachev did a fast food commercial, or that commercials are using dead stars like Fred Astaire and John Wayne to sell products. Suppose you see a commercial using the famous image of Nikita Khrushchev banging something on a table during his UN speech. Whose product is Nikita most likely endorsing? Nike, Purdue, Jack Daniels, or Starbucks?
Oh, at least he didn't throw the shoe. That was somebody else.
Back in 1960, Khrushchev got all bent out of shape in front of the UN, and he started banging his shoe on a table. It was great.
We will bury you with these very cool and comfortable shoes.
10,
This category is, he put the cool in Cold War. $2,000 for a correct answer. Hey, do you remember that MacArthur Park song where the guy gets all pissed off because somebody left his cake out in the rain and he lost the recipe? I can't say that I blame him, really. I'd be pissed off too if my cake got wet. Anywho, if Douglas MacArthur left a cake out during his reign as commander of the U.S. forces during World War II, where would he not have returned to find runny icing on the ground? Japan, China, Australia, or the Philippines?
Can't remember everywhere MacArthur
does this
was.
ring a bell? My extremely close personal friend, General Douglas MacArthur, led U.S. forces all over the South Pacific during World War II. But he never fought in China. Unless, of course, he finds out it was them who left his cake out in the rain. MacArthur's ass, moist and delicious.
Well, it'd be moist.
All right, don't freak out on me or nothing, but you're about to jump head first into a dis or dat. This dis or dat category is called the Great Space Coaster Race. Now, I'm going to read off 7...
American
you
or
already know how to play.
Soviet?
Fine, you got 30 seconds. You ready? Let's dance. First satellite to orbit the Earth was an American. First dog in space. First man to orbit the Earth. First woman to orbit the Earth. First man to walk in space. First probe to reach another planet. Last one. First manned spacecraft. 6 out of 7, not too shabby. Let's look at your new score. Talk about the price is right. Well done. Let's see what we got next.
12,
The category's gonna be Rockin' Over Russia. I got $2,000, says you don't know this one. Pencils ready. Let's do it. Based on the class of spy plane he flew, what band would you have expected Francis Gary Powers to be listening to on his infamous mission over the Soviet Union? The Eagles, U2, the B-52s, or Led Zeppelin?
And pretty sure he's flying a U-2.
In 1960, the Soviet Union captured U.S. spy Francis Gary Powers after shooting down his, drumroll please, U-2 spy plane. And the worst part was that the U.S. government still didn't find what they were looking for.
13,
I'm calling this one, nothing says democracy like a glass of cheap wine. And this one's gonna be worth $2,000. Hey, remember when the Berlin Wall came down and everybody celebrated the end of the Cold War? Everybody except those godless commies, of course, they were all upset. Anyway, suppose you celebrated the end of the Cold War with some cold duck in the home of that delicious drink. Where would you have lifted your glass? Poland, Czechoslovakia, Russia, or Germany?
I don't know.
Nope, sorry, no cold duck in Poland.
Oh,
Although I
well.
suppose you could Gdansk the night away. The correct answer is cold duck, originally from Germany, is a delicate mixture of champagne and burgundy. Goes great with cheese and quackers.
14,
This one's called Our New Ambassador to the UN, Bozo. You give me a right answer, I'll give you $3,000. And now, your question. Suppose you become a clown. If you choose a name that is inspired by treaty organizations the United States has been involved with, which of these should you not pick? ATO, NATO, CETO, or CENTO?
Yeah, I don't think they were involved with CETO.
Nope, CETO was the Southeast Asia Treaty Organization. It's also what clowns sit on when they ride those tiny little tricycles. I love that. Okay, now here's a good answer. ATO is a car. You know, those tiny little things you and 20 of your clown friends pile into and drive around in. You've almost... All right then, let's fast forward and get right to the good part. Here comes your clue. Yet another job for my fancy pants army knife, which of course I keep in my fancy pants.
Cutting paper, okay. What does this have to do with the theme of the episode? Loosening bolts. Oh, well, okay. Measuring length, ruler. Punching holes. Yes, I know. Was staring right at the answer. Moving line. Yeah, let's use a tweezers. Magnifying glass. Let's use a ferry for some of these. See there and think.
Nicely done, huh? Let's see what you did to your score. That does it. Player one, I couldn't have done a better job myself because I wouldn't have played by myself. I would have found something else to do, you know? Now, but seriously, player one, and this isn't easy for me to say. You don't know Jack!
Well, that was terrible on my part. But despite that, thank you for joining me for my terribleness. Take care, everybody. I'll see you all back tomorrow
Put
for
on
more.
weight and make it stay.
Or
I gained
a few
50
minutes from now if
pounds
you're
in 2
watching
weeks.
these in the future.
large and in charge.
Watch
We'll
out,
figure it
people.
out.
Here I
Anyway,
come. Chubba Bubba
enjoy the
All-Large
commercials,
Greatest
folks.
Sports drink is the
Later.
easiest, most delicious way to put on those pounds.
I enjoy a cold Chubba Bubba in the morning, one in the late morning, one at noon, one at 2 o'clock or so, one at dinner, one at a late evening
It's
snack.
that easy.
Chug it down, America.
Chubba Bubba, all lard and gravy sports drink.
Everybody in gorilla costumes.
Fingers.
I love them.
They're great.
I use mine every day.
And so should you.
Fingers!
Brought to you by the Finger People.
Hey, what are you doing? I'm lonely. Are you? Call me. 1-800-HOT-BOTS. Let's go out.
I was up for a night of hot woman on robot action. Well, I got what I wanted. Plus, at the end of the night, my robotic escort really put out.
Give me a call. 1-800-HOT-BOTS. I'm waiting by the phone. Plus, at the end of the night, I really put out.
Do you like steak?
Mm-hmm.
Do you fancy yourself a conquistador?
See?
Then come on down to Uncharted Steaks, the restaurant for today's modern explorer. We take only the finest steaks and hide them in the restaurant. It's your job to find these steaks and claim them in the name of taste. But beware, many dangers await you on your mission.
I took a blow dart in the neck, but it was worth it for that juicy steak.
An ornery king beheaded my husband, but hey, what a steak.
My daughter was eaten by a lion. I gotta tell you, that was a great steak.
So come on down to Uncharted Steaks and claim some steak in El Nombre de Gusto.
This week on The Bachelor Chefs, the theme is macaroni and cheese.
Ah, I see the Bachelor Chef is preparing his macaroni and cheese using a zesty white cheddar mix.
Yes, and what's this? He only uses half the recommended amount of milk?
Fascinating.
The challenger is seasoning his macaroni and cheese with pepper and a dash of leftover Tabasco sauce.
The smell is extraordinary.
Who will win this battle?
The Bachelor Chef's macaroni and cheese did not boil too long. It is not mushy.
The dish is creamy, but not too rich, or a buttery goop.
The challenger's macaroni and cheese, it is a bit runny, perhaps too much milk.
Yes, he should have allowed it to sit for a few minutes.
Next time on The Bachelor Chefs.